And you're welcome back to Morning Express. For the next leg of conversations on the program this morning, let's see if we can join virtually Ambassador Jake Epelle, who is a public affairs analyst as well as a patriotic Nigerian who loves to lend his deep wealth of knowledge to critical national issues. And this is off the back of the Global Disability Summit 2025, which has aimed to address matters of disability across the globe and ways of ensuring inclusion globally. Hello and a very good morning to you, Ambassador Jake. Thank you so much for finding the time to join us on Morning Express.
Thank you so much, my good friend. Good to see you again.
It's good.
I am particularly happy to be here.
It's good to see you once again too, sir. Well, first things first, the Global Disability Summit 2025 just rounded up. Could you kindly take us through the happenings there and what the resolutions might have been with regards to persons, living with disability and the need for inclusion and a level playing ground that offers opportunities for all individuals involved?
Sorry, the country that we are in, they just took the power, but they're going to bring it back.
That's understandable, sir.
You can see me. Okay, so we had the Global Disability Summit that was in Berlin, Germany, second to the third of to lead the Nigerian delegation to the summit. The whole summit was organized specifically for persons with disability by two countries, the Germans and the Jordanian, and both the Chancellor of Germany and the King of Jordan were on hand to speak to the community of persons with disability globally. We had 188 countries represented, and it was well attended, over 4,000 to 5,000 participants. There were speakers across board. I was privileged to be in two different panels. So you see the light is back. I was privileged to be in two different panels. So sorry about the mix-up.
That's all right, sir. Carry on with your line of thoughts.
I think we are good now.
Yes, absolutely.
I was privileged to be in two panels. I hope my lightning is okay though.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So I was privileged to be in two panels. The first panel, immediately after the opening ceremony, and the last panel at the closing ceremony, as well as a fire chat event, which was hosted by TAF Africa, of Nigeria. I think we're one of the African countries that participated in organizing a chat event. So it was well attended. There were I think Nigeria had the second largest contingent to the event. It was well attended. The German government committed well over 4 billion euro in spending on disability inclusion. And so, to give you an overview, the takeaways can come as you ask me more questions, but it was a conference that was an eye-opener to all the attendees. And we're trying to put the pieces together and have one holistic roundtable to discuss the takeaway, who will be committed to it, and how we will monitor the commitment with accountability mechanism.
Now, Ambassador Jake, via your TAF Africa organization, you have spearheaded groundbreaking initiatives in disability advocacy, including voter inclusion, leadership training for PWDs, and campaigns for accessible infrastructure and services. Were any of these issues raised at the summit? And if yes, what were the resolutions with regards to that, particularly narrowing it down to Nigeria, where we have persons living with disability who might not really have the opportunity to carry out certain activities in terms of voting and access to infrastructure like the rest of the individuals out there?
A very brilliant question. I think all of the issues you raised were on the table. We had political participation and governance space. We had issues of accessibility and technology.
Yeah.
But what came front and center was a project that, we didn't know the impact. I actually must confess that I took it with a pinch of salt, but it became the major issues. We launched a project called Access to Work Scheme for persons with disability. It was a scheme that addresses the issue of employability, self-employability of persons with disability, predominantly how to access the workspace, and get persons with disability employed. It was something that, to be candid, I didn't take it that much serious, but I think it was what the organizers researched and found out and decided to invite me as two very keynote panelists, and so Access to Work Scheme was my greatest takeaway, because it puts me in front and center with the biggest employers of labor. You talked about ILO championing that. There were GSK, there were Accenture, and all kinds of big time employers. So that to me was the biggest takeaway. What can we do to get persons with disability employed? What can we do to influence the private sector to recognize that they are the biggest employer of labor and be able to employ persons with disability? And so, to me and to many of us that attended, that was it. There were also issues around accessibility and technology, what technology can do in contributing to easy access for persons with disability. By the way, when you talk about Access to Work Scheme, one of the things that also played out for me was the issue of self-employment of persons with disability, and ease of doing business. I actually flagged that up in the discussion, and it became the focus of the discussion, because I tasked many of these big time employers and said, look, it's not just employing persons with disability, it's also giving them access to your process of procurement so that they can do businesses. And that reminds me that one of the key organizations we need to fall back to on return is the CAC. We want to make sure that there is ease of business registration for CAC.
Now, Ambassador Jake, beyond CAC, which is a very fantastic advocacy that you are championing alongside other stakeholders in this cause, to talk to the CAC to ensure that they curate modalities for PWDs to be able to access better services. Is there a need for some sort of legislation with regards to this particular matter? Are you hoping to perhaps also engage the National Assembly in your cause for persons living with disability?
Brilliant question. That brings to mind the fact that we had a holistic attend, attendance to this conference. I traveled with 3 key legislators and 2 legislative aides from National Assembly. The chairman of Disability Committee was there. The chairman of INEC, which is governance, Prince Balogu, my friend, and Dr. Dauda were there, and they participated fully in spite of all the challenges we had. These were Nigerians who were not interested in how much they would get, but interested in how much they can contribute. Princess Onoha, my dear friend, who is in TED Fund committee, was also there. And then, of course, representing education. Also, we had the aid of the Speaker of the House, his aid on disability, and the aid of the Deputy Speaker of the House. You know, we were fully represented. There was gender balance. 2 women, 3 men were on hand for this conference. So, in terms of legislation, we already have the legislation. The Disability Act stipulates that employment opportunity should be given to persons with disability at least, and I want to underline this, at least 5%. So oftentimes when people speak, they say, oh, we are giving 5%. We're not giving 5%. They say the least, the minimum is 5%.
Both in the private sector and in government agencies as well?
Yes, across board. It's a laws of the federation is across board. So whether it's your public sector or in your private sector, the least employment space for persons with disability in any entity in Nigeria, the least is 5%.
Yeah.
It can be 15, it can be 20, it can be 30. So we already, in answer to your question, we already have the legislation. The problem is implementation, and many of us are working hard to ensure implementation.
All right, Ambassador Jake, I'm afraid this is all time will permit for us to discuss. I wish we had more time to talk about this, but hopefully we'll have you join us again next time, sometime very soon, to talk on more topical issues. Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have time to talk about the key takeaways. There was a global commitment. There was takeaways around inclusive education, participation of persons with disability, access to health, technology, and of course, employability. So it's a whole lot to unpack, and I'll be more than happy to come back and discuss that holistically.
Well, that has been Ambassador Jake Epelle, who is the founder and CEO of TAF Africa, lending his deep wealth of knowledge with us on matters of persons living with disabilities, and the summit that was held, Global Disability Summit 2025, that was held in Berlin to talk about strategic ways of helping PWDs all across the world.